There's an unspoken bias in every glance you receive, a verdict passed before you can even speak. This isn't about cruelty. It's a biological efficiency hardwired into every human. Before your handshake, before you offer an idea, you've been assessed. If your presence signals weakness, you are perceived as prey. If you project lack, you are processed as irrelevant. The brilliance of your mind, the depth of your heart, these are secondary. Your visual signature dictates the reality you're permitted to enter. Thomas Hobbes observed this 500 years ago. The world is swayed by surfaces, and most people are spectators, not judges. You've felt the chill of a room when you enter. You've watched gazes slide past you, focusing on others who simply looked like they belonged. This isn't bad fortune, it is the ruthless arithmetic of first impressions. If you ignore it, every system is designed to resist you. Poverty isn't merely a financial state, it's a silent frequency. It broadcasts vulnerability, and nature's oldest rule is to exploit vulnerability. When you appear diminished, not necessarily ragged but reduced, you trigger a subconscious predatory circuit in others. You invite lower offers, you solicit indifference, but there is a method to reprogram this circuit. The world does not reward what you are, only what you appear to be. You can project power long before you fully possess it. You can compel the world to treat you with the respect accorded to a sovereign, even if your resources are thin. This is the strategy of the sovereign mask, using your image as a lever to bend reality. To wear it, you must first recognize the signal you're unknowingly transmitting now. The silent broadcast that whispers, "My value is low." Why does the world react so harshly to the appearance of poverty? Because the brain is a lazy machine. It seeks shortcuts. Your presentation is the ultimate shortcut. When you present as unkempt, slumped, or apologetic, you deliver the verdict yourself. You tell the world, "I've conceded, so you can dismiss me." They don't despise poverty out of malice. They recoil because it's an omen of failure, a scent of misfortune they fear is contagious. Thomas Hobbes noted that men judge more by sight than by touch. Everyone sees the surface. Few ever feel the substance beneath. Think of the last person you saw with a defeated posture and worn clothes. Did you ponder their potential? No. You categorized and moved on. It was an energy-saving act. Now, imagine you are that person. We comfort ourselves with lies. "I'm authentic," or "I dress for comfort." But comfort is the adversary of influence. Authenticity without a foundation of perceived authority is just background noise. To look poor is to enter a conflict unarmored. And in any conflict, the unarmored are not admired. They are removed. Consider the shadow effect, the inverse of a halo. If one visible trait is negative, like cracked shoes or a slumping spine, the mind assumes all traits are negative: laziness, incompetence, unreliability. Why? Because discipline is visible. If you cannot command the space your body occupies, why would anyone believe you can command a project, a team, a vision? To neglect your image is to defame your own potential. You are telling a false story about yourself, and the world, being brutally literal, believes it. There's a dark economic paradox. Capital gravitates toward those who seem not to need it. Walk into a negotiation radiating desperation. Let your need be palpable. The terms will be punishing. Now, enter that same room projecting calm assurance, dressed with intentionality, speaking from a place of chosen engagement. The dynamic flips. The doors unlock. Why? You signaled abundance. Humans obey the law of association. Wealth is linked to capability. Poverty is linked to fault. If you look like you require aid, you will be offered a pittance. If you look like you can bestow advantage, resources flow toward you. This act-as-if principle isn't vanity, it's a survival algorithm. To seem poor is to signal liability. To seem prosperous is to signal potential. Nobody invests in a liability. Everyone wants a stake in potential. You are an insurance policy for those who take a chance on you. By appearing the part, you lower the perceived risk of betting on you. Refusing this game isn't integrity, it's arrogance, assuming the world will invest effort to discover your hidden worth. The world invests nothing. You must manifest your value in a form so clear it cannot be ignored. You must learn to simulate what is necessary. If you are uncertain, project calm assessment. If your resources are limited, carry yourself as one merely passing through a lower tier. The moment they detect the scent of your need, the dynamic shifts against you. Let's examine the deeper layer, the animal brain. Status hierarchies are biological. In any pack, a limping animal is marked. Human society is a refined version of this. We don't use claws, we use exclusion, undervaluation, and disregard. When you look poor, you are spiritually limping. You signal you have no coalition, no means of retaliation. This is why the seemingly poor are overcharged and underserved. They are low-risk targets. Exploit them, and there are no consequences. Your appearance is a psychological deterrent. It causes a moment of hesitation in others. In that moment, you control the frame. Without that hesitation, you are instantly catalogued, and the outcome is predetermined. You might protest that this is unjust. You can argue with the law of gravity all the way down. It won't change your trajectory. Who told you image is unimportant? Who called it vanity? Often it's those who benefit from your staying in place, or those who have surrendered. It's what's inside that counts is a mantra for the overlooked. Character is vital for keeping what you gain, but appearance is the price of entry. Your interior is the masterpiece. Your exterior is the gallery that displays it. If you house a priceless work in a crumbling shed, no one will ever see it. Curating your image isn't deception, it's respect for your own content. To present yourself carelessly is an act of self-disrespect, and the world mirrors the respect you show yourself. There's a spiritual mechanics at work. When you sharpen your exterior, you hone your interior. Put on intentional attire. Stand with alignment. Notice how your thinking becomes more deliberate, your speech more measured. You don't await confidence to act. You act to construct confidence. The mask forges the face. Stop viewing your morning routine as a chore. It is arming for a role. You are casting yourself in your own story. Are you the background character, the casualty, or the central force? The costume department is yours to command. It's deeper than fabric. It's in the eyes. The gaze of lack is one of perpetual apology, breaking eye contact first, shrinking in doorways, nervous laughter at insults. These are the manners of a subject. You can dress a servant in finery, but with a servile gaze, he remains a servant. A sovereign in simple clothes, bearing a steady, assessing gaze, will be perceived as a sovereign incognito. Power is tranquil. Scarcity is frantic, over-explaining, over-smiling, over-pleasing. When you are comfortable in silence, you signal surplus. When you occupy space without apology, you signal command. You must train the body to persuade the mind. Move with the pace of a man whose time is valuable. Hold a gaze until the other feels assessed. Eradicate the inner subject. Because if that subject lives, no amount of money will change your story. The loudest signal of poverty is noise. The person operating from lack is noisy with words, movements, complaints. They fear silence, so they fill it, revealing plans and insecurities, handing others the tools for their own defeat. Power is quiet. The apex predator doesn't announce. The most influential person in the room often speaks least. When you say too much, you devalue your words. Master the closed mouth. In silence, you become a vessel for others' projections. They wonder what you know. In their uncertainty, they perform for your approval. This extends digitally. The man who documents every trivial thought screams spiritual poverty. The man who shares with severe selectivity implies a life too rich to be contained on a screen. Scarcity manufactures value. But I can't afford the symbols, you might say. This misses the point. Looking poor is seldom about price tags, it's about maintenance. A man in an inexpensive but crisp, clean and fitted shirt communicates more order than a man in an expensive, stained, wrinkled jacket. Discipline costs nothing. Polish, posture, grooming, these are investments of will. Untidiness signals internal chaos. If you can't govern your own sphere, who would believe you can govern anything else? Prosperity looks clean. It signals removal from the grime of daily struggle. Scrub that grime from your avatar. Inspect the details, shoe heels, collars, the screen on your phone. A cracked screen is a megaphone shouting, "I tolerate brokenness." Do not live with broken things. It trains your psyche to accept less. Fix it or conceal it. You must also curate your environment. A rusted car. Park it out of sight and walk the final distance tall. You are the director. Frame the shot to exclude the distracting debris. And the most difficult audit, your circle. You are visually averaged with the 5 people you're seen with most. If you run with a pack that signals defeat, you are painted with that brush. This isn't about abandoning loyalty, but about strategic optics. On the field of advancement, you must be seen alongside other contenders. Thomas Hobbes said a ruler is judged by the quality of his advisors. Your associations are your advisory council. Choose them for the signal they send about you. This is a total war on perception. And here is the ultimate alchemy. When you systematically eliminate every signal of poverty from your life, you begin to escape poverty itself. It's mechanical. Dress for respect, receive opportunities. Receive opportunities, gain resources. The external costume rebuilds the internal man. You see a contender in the mirror, so you act like one. You negotiate from strength, decline exploitative deals. You hack your own neurochemistry. By refusing to appear poor, you reject the identity of poverty. You declare, through your very being, that you are destined for more. And the world, which is desperate for signals of certainty and strength, responds. It opens doors. It offers smiles once withheld. Everyone sees the surface you present. Few will ever touch the core of who you are. So present a vision of formidable becoming. Do not wait for the treasure to polish the chest. Polish the chest now and watch the treasure arrive in search of its rightful place. But if you remain in the worn-out uniform, waiting for an invitation to change, you will expire in it. The judgment happens every day in every glance. Victim or architect, the law is clear. Understanding is step 1. Application is the chasm where most falter. The techniques for mastering this are nuanced, and some of the most potent psychological leverages are not for a public forum. The algorithm restricts the deepest layers of this knowledge. If this has shifted your perspective, know that this is merely the surface. For those who are serious, the deeper architecture exists behind the join button. If you're still listening, you're different. Subscribe if you haven't, but if you want what remains hidden, click join. You will access exclusive, uncensored content that explores the true mechanics of influence. Most will not. That is the point. For now, if you found value in understanding these signals, do one thing to shift the algorithm in your favor. Like this video and follow Mindshade Dynamics for more.